it all turns pear-shaped
Yep.
on the back of drinking a energy drink
Pre-workout, yep.
that has a substance that you weren't aware of that was banned. And my understanding is that it's only banned
That year, on game day.
on game day.
Yeah.
So you could drink that all week,
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, go for your life, just not on game day.
just not on game day.
Only in that year too. So it was my second year.
And obviously you had no awareness that was the
So
case. Otherwise you
I've been
wouldn't have
using
taken
that for a
game day.
while. Yeah. So I've been using that for a while. It was my friend's protein company that I was pretty close with at the time, and I was throughout VFL, AFL was something I was using, and I don't drink coffee, so I just needed that caffeine hit, and it was just a pre-workout that I'd used before training. And
Which is common use for a lot of AFL and professional athletes.
That's right. To put it clearly, the caffeine tablets that we're allowed to take pre-game are actually stronger than what I was taking.
Yep.
So if you take 2 tablets of caffeine, which most do, halftime sometimes players take it, that is actually stronger than what I was consuming.
And for people listening, there is a level that you have to stay under from a caffeine point of view.
Definitely.
I'm going to try and say the word that was actually in the drink. Methylphenephrine.
Methylphenephrine, yeah, spot on.
That's close enough.
Yeah.
And that was the banned stimulant
that
effectively cost you
18 months. Pretty much nearly my dream, got taken away. So, second year, we're at Fremantle playing a game. Mind you, it's not like I was dominating, I was actually, my second year was probably not as strong as my first, and started off in the ones and playing senior footy, and then got dropped, had a really good game in the VFL, and that's when I came back up to play in Fremantle and took it with me there. I had it before the game like I have in the past, and then, got tested and, found out pretty quickly from my doc after I wrote it down. I disclosed it. Once we get tested, we need to disclose what we've taken that day. Panadol, my asthma pump, pre-workout.
Even multivitamins.
Literally anything you've taken, you have to put in. So I wasn't hiding it, wrote it down, showed my doc, and he quickly put 2 and 2 together. He goes, "Saad, we might be in a bit of trouble here." Funny thing is, I actually went that year. I remember a couple of times. I went once in pre-season because we get obviously educated that we need to go. Anything we put in our body, make sure you check with your doc. So I remember once going with my pre-workout to the doc's office, and then he wasn't there. So I was like, I'll go back again, and just never went back. So I definitely take full responsibility. I don't blame anybody, and I made that very clear at the time that this is my fault. I'll put it in my system, and I'll fully, I'll take the consequences, which I did. So I don't blame anyone. But I felt like it was a bit stiff. I would have loved common sense to prevail a little bit. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I would never try to cheat. I worked so hard to get here. Something that, like you said, wasn't banned in previous years, wasn't banned on any other day of the week besides game day. I would have loved a little bit of common sense to say, well, there is a lot of grey here. Yeah. There's a lot of things that we can probably put past.
Question for you.
Yeah.
And I'm only thinking about this now. And you mentioned, say, Buddy Franklin, one of your favourite players watching. Say it was him that had the same circumstance. Do you think the outcome would have been the same?
I'd hope so, but I don't know. I was a second-year player fighting it on my own. I'll put it differently. Essendon, the whole team, for what they did, they get 12 months only. They got to train together. Mm-hmm. From my understanding, still got paid. I didn't get paid. My contract got ripped up, got delisted, couldn't train with the club, couldn't go near anyone. Every training session I did had to be by myself. Yep. I got a personal trainer at the time who reached out to me. It was a friend of mine from the Bull Ants, Adam Yakobuchi, still now one of my close mates. And he looked after me. Too. He does. And Essendon actually, after I came back, they actually have gone to him. They realised that his program works. So, it was whether he would have got the same, punishment or not, I don't know. I would like so. I would like to say yes, but if you look at Essendon and what I got, two different, and I know every case is different. Yeah. So we're not the same case at all. But I was one player, second-year player, Yeah.
You're a young kid at the time, still trying to make your way, living the dream, but then it gets taken away from you almost instantly. How low of a place did you get to?
Yeah, I was devastated. I even remember in the tribunal pleading my case, and I just started bawling my eyes out, like my dream's been taken away. But not just that, like I didn't come from a wealthy family. Footy money as a second-year player or first-year player wasn't a lot.
Yeah.
But when you play games and you start getting bonuses, it starts helping. And I was able to help my family, and I remember what I was telling him. I remember telling him, like, guys, you're taking away not just my dream, but also the help that I get to do with my family. Like, my first pay, I bought my mum a dishwasher because ours was broken for 2 years. I was helping my sisters with money and stuff like that. So I know money's not everything, but you're not just taking my dream, you're actually taking a lot of people, my community, my family. So I was devastated, man. Like, at the time, I bawled my eyes out in the tribunal. Maybe that's why I didn't get 24 months. Maybe they thought, let's give him, 18, which is funny. 18 actually was probably the limit where I could come back.
Yeah.
If it was 24 months, it'd come after preseason, fully preseason. No club's taking me.
Yeah.
Round 3. I got to do a second half of the preseason post-Christmas. So, but yeah, at the time, I was probably at the lowest of lows. Yeah.
And you weren't just banned from footy; it was
sport. I called it prison sport. Yeah. Pretty much locked out of everything. I couldn't even go back to Egypt and play soccer there. Wow. I was not allowed to do anything. I can't even go back to Roxburgh Park, have a kick with the guys training. I couldn't do anything. I actually remember playing futsal with my friends in a competition, not even like a proper elite competition. And my manager called me. Manager called me and said, Saadi, they did an interview after they do it like on their socials. They do some stuff, and I got man of the match. So I did an interview. And then because it felt like it semi-perfect, like interview and stuff like that, my manager called me and goes, Saadi, we got questioned about this. Just please don't do it again. I said, mate, it's literally, I'm paying to play. Like, you're paying, everyone pays $10. You play in a competition. And then he goes, just don't do it. So I actually couldn't even do that. So everything I did after that was on my own with Yaka, all by myself. Yeah. One, because I just didn't want to risk Asada coming back to me and saying, well, hey, this is bad luck. Now you're banned. Yeah. And they actually tried to, the killer was when they tried to appeal it. So AFL handed me 18 months after the first tribunal. I think they had a couple of weeks to appeal. We thought we'll pass it. On the last day, I get a call saying they're appealing it. They want you to get the 24 months. So I had to go through the whole thing again. One of the hardest parts was my mum calling me crying on the phone saying, I can't believe we have to go through this again. Yeah. And for me, that was probably the hardest part. When people around me, that's right. Not me. I can handle it. I can deal with it. And if it was just no one knew about it, I'm fine. I'll get through it. But when my mum, my wife at the time, my family, and they're all getting affected, my name's getting tarnished in the media, it's not great. So that for me was the hardest part, when my loved ones were affected. Yeah.
Who did you rely on most during that time?
I was pretty lucky. I had a really good support network, to be quite honest. Grant Thomas, I lived with him my first year and a bit. He was amazing, a great mentor. Scotty Waters was actually great as well. He actually got sacked in my second year when I was banned. So would train, like I'd go have a kick with him once a week and we'd chat. My uncle Sharif, he's probably someone that I idolized growing up. He's the one who taught me how to kick, and we played together, and he was someone that was really good to me as well. My wife, obviously, but they're kind of, plus parents, obviously, no doubt, but they're the main people, I would say, plus Ali Fuhua from the AFL as well, who was a good friend of mine at the time. He helped me out a fair bit behind the scenes as well. So, and someone that still supports me to this day, and really good friend of mine. So I'd say those guys, were outstanding for me.
You spoke of the impact it has on your inner circle, but also the perception that you have to carry, and people going, oh, he's the guy that cheated, without it and really knowing any of the context or the details. And religion, was that something that really hurt when all this came to life?
Yeah, as a Muslim, like I said, I don't drink. Yeah. So for me to put my name next to drugs, and Saad takes drugs, and my name just getting tarnished in my community. I was the first Egyptian to ever get drafted and play AFL. So then it's the Egyptian community as well, plus the Muslim community. And at the time, it was just me and Bash playing. There were two Muslims in the AFL. So it definitely was hard. But religion at the same time actually saved me through that period.